a game of truth or dare. What help me fix what's wrong from right? Youth of America's time to fight. You and me could start a revolution. Take back what's ours and smash the institution.
New Day, the name of that one, some Bending Over Backwards, a band that DJ Psycho Eddie got me into over this past year. Some great old school sounding punk rock. I love it, and I love the message of that particular song. Before that, we heard from my old pals, the Misfits, off of the remixed Project 1950, covering Elvis, I believe. You're the Devil in Disguise. You are tuned in to Tony Jones's Rockin' New Year's Eve broadcast right here on Rhode Island Free Radio, online at rifreeradio.org, and over the airwaves on AM 1320 WARA. Now, countless numbers of you, and I just responded to a few of you listening and checking in with us on social media. 2015, the year that social media continues to blow up. There's people that are on social media 24 hours a day. I wonder if you guys remember this story. It's regarding social media. People were actually getting into fist fights because of this on Facebook and on Twitter. There was a picture of a woman's dress, and the question was, do you see blue? Do you see gold? I personally saw gold, but I mean, people were going, again, we're in war times. Our state is falling apart. And people are going ballistic over the picture of this dress. Is it blue? Is it gold? I saw a gold dress. My girlfriend saw a blue dress, and the cops almost had to come.
Well, I was personally more concerned with where's the girl who's supposed to be in the dress, and do they have pictures of her?
Yeah, you're like, ooh, where's the naked girl?
Definitely more concerned when I saw Tony in that dress.
I showed up and I said, is this blue or is this gold?
That was more concerning. And that was not fetish night down at Manchester 65.
Which I got to say, I'm actually saddened that I have not been able to make a single one of those Manchester.
There's only one more left.
You know what? I think I'm going to keep that streak going.
You got to see the guy in the hockey mask that's hanging out there. Or ski mask, whatever it is. Looks like a terrorist.
You're talking about a fetish night, and then you're talking about the guy who's, quote-unquote, hanging out there.
Yeah, in a ski mask.
No.
This is not an advertisement for me.
There you go.
You're using a poor choice of words. He's thinking hanging out.
No.
Trust me. I have no problem with the whole fetish scene. I actually kind of like it, to be honest with you. But it's just something wrong with it where you have to show up in a hockey mask.
Because it's the guy under that hockey mask is the guy who does your taxes or the police officer walking the beat in your neighborhood. And he wants his privacy.
He could be the guy that was on the most recent pedophile list, too. Because at my work today, one of the guys in our recent area that my coworker got a listing for that said pedophile level whatever, beware, was right at the front counter. And we were all like, wow, this is terrifying.
I won't even go that far. I'm talking about, I've gone to fetish nights where it's like, hey, is that you? You're recognizing someone now again.
Say hello to your mother for us.
Oh, God, you got to really go there again.
I'm not even going to go that far. I am a product of 12 years of Catholic schooling. Now,
see what happens, children, when you go to Catholic school?
Yeah, it's all downhill after that. However, one of the girls I went to school with, she was a year behind me. She graduated, 1 year behind me. Go figure, do the math. Anyways, I went to a fetish night. She was the lead dominatrix. She was running the show. It was her night. And I was like, holy crap. And luckily, between modern pharmaceuticals and what I was partaking in that evening, I happened to be handcuffed and, wrapped up in the pole that was in the middle of the stage at Club Hell that night. If you remember the original setup where when you walked in the door, the stage was across the room and to the right, and it had the pole right in the middle of the stage. Yeah, I was handcuffed to that. Bad things happened.
We are 26 minutes and 26 seconds away from the new year. I'll give you a hint on what I'd like to talk about by playing this track and what we're going to talk about on the other side of this track. You are tuned in to Tony Jones's Rockin' New Year's Eve broadcast on Rhode Island Free Radio and AM 1320 WARA out of Attleboro. Perk up. I hate to be morbid, but we have to cover it. Perk up, and anybody who hasn't been imbibing large amounts of alcohol or other substances this evening will get from this track what I would like to talk about after this track. It's from the Jim Carroll Band.
Cheddar's sniffing glue, he was 12 years old. Fell from the roof on East 29. Kathy was 11 when she pulled the plug. 26 reds and a bottle of wine. Bobby got leukemia, 14 years old. He looked like 65 when he died. He was a friend of mine. Those are people who died, died. 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 They were all my friends that just died. Herbie pushed Tony from the boys' club roof. Tony thought that his rage was just some goof, but Herbie sure gave Tony some bitchin' proof. And Herbie said, Tony, can you fly? But Tony couldn't fly. Tony died. Those are people who died, 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 died. They're all my friends and they died. Brian got busted on a narco rap. He beat the rap by ratting on some bikers. He said, hey, I know it's dangerous, but it sure beats Rikers. But the next day, he got offed by the very same bikers. Those are people who died, died. 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 All my friends and when he died. Sniffing glue, he was 12 years old. Fell from the roof on East 29. Kathy was 11 when she pulled the plug on 26 reds and a bottle of wine. Bobby got leukemia, 14 years old. Looked like 65 when he died. He was a friend of mine. Those are people who died, died. 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 They're all my friends and when he died. Cheeseburger and Georgie let the gimmicks go rotten. They died of hepatitis in Upper Manhattan. Flying Vietnam took a bullet in the head. Bobby OD'd on Drano on the night that he was wed. They were two more friends of mine. I miss them. They died. Those are people who died, 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 died. All my friends that just died. Mary took a drive up from a hotel room. Bobby hung himself from a cell in the tube. Judy jumped in front of the subway train, and Eddie got slit in the jugular vein. Eddie, I miss you more than all the others. This song is for you, my brother. Those are people who died, died. 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 They're all my friends and they died. Those are people who died, died. Those are people who died, died.
People Who Died, the name of that one, the Jim Carroll Band. Incidentally, I had a chance to meet Jim Carroll not too long before he died in New York City. One of the great thrills of my life, being able to chat with him. If you can believe it, we are 22 minutes and 9 seconds away from 2016. And yes, as you can tell by the track I just played, I'd like to talk a little bit. It's a little morbid, but we got to cover it. We got to do our journalistic duties here, and I can't even say that with a straight face, but we got to cover it here. We were talking a little bit off the air about 2015 was just a huge year for folks passing away. By the way, you're tuned in to Tony Jones's Rockin' New Year's Eve broadcast. We're on Rhode Island Free Radio and AM 1320 WARA. Chuckles from Chuckles Crypt is here. DJ Psycho Eddie is here from My Night Out Radio. And we always have the female perspective here, so Nurse Misery is behind the microphone. I'll go through just kind of an abbreviated list, and then I'll let you guys all kind of jump in and talk about what you think of the folks that we unfortunately lost this past year. A lot of pro wrestling fans out there tuning in. One of my favorites, Dusty Rhodes, he passed away this past year, along with Mr. Piper. We lost Percy Sledge, for all you old school folks out there. Scott Weiland from STP. In the horror genre, we lost Gunnar Hansen, and Wes Craven passed away this past year. I don't know if a lot of people heard about this, but Vincent Majera, Don Vito from Jackass and Viva La Bam fame, Bam Majera's uncle, passed away not too long ago. A little bit more obscure, Al from Happy Days passed away, and if you have seen all those books out there with Fabio on the cover, Jackie Collins passed away. The guy who sang Louie Louie, Jack Ellis, passed away, and Stand By Me singer Ben E. King passed away, as well as B.B. King passed away this past year. That was a big hit for me. We were talking about it off the air. I had told myself when B.B. King came through Lupo's about 2 years ago, I said, I'll catch him next time. And unfortunately, there was no next time for me to catch. Gunnar Hansen passed away, a guy we had a chance to chat with at Rockin' Shocks in years past. And, of course, the freshest wound, Lemmy from Motorhead, passed away in 2015. And there's just scores more, but that's kind of just an abbreviated list of, I think, folks that listen to me would be interested. Oh, and Sam Simon, one of the producers and one of the early animators of The Simpsons, he passed away this past year, a show that I have been watching my whole adult life. What do you guys think? It was a rough year.
Definitely was. One of the biggest losses to me, the horror world, was a classic too, Christopher Lee.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that was one of those hits where I always wanted to meet that guy, and he was the last classic horror guy hanging in there. And to see him or hear about him passing away, it was hard. Which is why in February, Chuckles Crypt here on Rhode-IslandFreeRadio.org, a little cheap plug, we're going to be doing a whole month of vampires, including the late great Christopher Lee, a tribute to him.
Well, I honestly,
Al from Happy Days.
Al from Happy Days. Believe it or not, he was that father figure that, well, for the show anyways, that everyone, all the misfits like the Fonz, and believe it or not, Fonz was actually a misfit outcast in society, and he just looked cool because of the leather jacket and the motorcycle, which basically sums up my life right now. But honestly, for me, Lemmy Kilminster,
that sucked.
That was.
And it was.
Tough for
I mean,
me.
even though the guy was 70 years old, it was a shocker.
Well, if you did the research on it, which fortunately for me, my wife informs me of most of the things I need to know in life. He was only diagnosed with cancer like 2 or 3 days before he died. So it wasn't like this long, drawn-out process. It wasn't even a press release. Lemmy's got cancer, and next thing you know, Lemmy's dead. And I'm thinking back, and I talked about this earlier. The first time I ever saw Motorhead, Lemmy, was on the old TV, on MTV, as a matter of fact, was The Young Ones. They did the song Ace of Spades. From that day on, I was hooked.
They are
hook,
good.
line, and sinker. I was absolutely hooked on Motorhead.
Now, have they made it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame yet, Motorhead?
I couldn't tell you on a bet.
Anybody out there know? Probably not. So since we're shaking our head,
they're good. So probably not.
Yeah, they put rappers in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, not rock and roll stars. Yeah, that was a big
well,
whack.
If it's any consolation, Jethro Tull made it.
Yeah. The other huge loss, of course, was Wes Craven.
Yeah.
That was a big whack, especially if you're a horror fan like myself. The creator of the one and only Freddy Krueger and many others like Scream.
Sorry about that. I was choking on my tears.
We almost added DJ Psycho Eddie to our list of people who